And here we are back with another project vlog. I have been making so much stuff this year, but all of it has been basically like all of my small, just like a bunch of small accessories, which is so funny when you look back at the video of like what I made last year as well as what I was hoping to make this year. I kept saying, it's the year of the sweater. I'm gonna make a bunch of sweaters. I'm gonna make like everything that I wanted to do was like bigger projects. But this has just not been a good year for me and my mental health. So a lot of what I've been doing has been like bags, like little scarves, things of that nature. So it is nice to at least do something, you know, a little bit of a bigger project. This is still technically an accessory, but to at least getting a little bit more into the wearables, which is great because my next project that I'm going to do after this is going to be like a bigger wool, like knitted dress. That's my plan anyway. Fingers crossed that I stay strong and I keep going with that. In case I haven't said it yet, I am making a poncho. These have been all the rage this year. So many people have been doing cute ones. They're absolutely adorable. And you don't need a pattern for something like this at all. It's literally just two big rectangles to whatever size that you want, and then you sew them together. But I am going to be using averp poncho pattern as just kind of like a little bit of a reference and a really good starting point for me. I have used her patterns and talked about her on this channel before, so you guys probably know I'm already a big fan. I really like her stuff, and this pattern is available for free on her website, especially if you are newer and you need a little bit more of a guide, or if you're someone like me who doesn't necessarily need to use a pattern for something like this, but you like to reference patterns just to get yarn ideas, maybe sizes and casting on numbers, you know, because that is where I don't want to do trial and error, which I know is like not great, and I really should just suck it up and do trial and error sometime. But if someone has figured out the beginning steps for me, I love it. I would love to reference it. So this is the yarn that I'm using. This is the yarnart linen soft. This is a recommended yarn that Ava adds into her pattern. It's this really kind of cool yarn texture. I don't even know if it's gonna come up on camera, but it's fun because it has areas where it's really thin like this, and then you have areas like this that are a little bit thicker. So it creates kind of a bit of a slub texture. I will say I think that it is making it kind of difficult to keep even tension. This is my first time using a yarn that is like this, but honestly I really like the look of it, and I think that it's turning out like the green poncho reference that Ava uses in her pattern. And I liked how the stitches were a little bit more open, a little bit more loose. So for those of you that are curious, I am using a 6.5 millimeter needle with this yarn, and I'm getting the exact texture that I want out of this. I still use the same number of cast on stitches that the pattern calls for. I've worked on this maybe like a day and a half. Not bad. I'm actually making some pretty decent progress. Some of you guys are going to be way faster than me and are going to have way more of this done in that amount of time. But my purl stitches still take me a really long time. But recently I learned how to Norwegian purl, and it looks like a lot of people that as they get used to it can do purling so much faster. I'm not to that point yet. I'm still like a little bit of a baby deer using that purling technique. I don't know if I mentioned the color yet, but this is the color number 7309. I thought this did have a name, but I guess it didn't. I do not remember the last time I have recorded, but I have made really, really good progress. Let's see if I can get all of this in here for you. So this is my first panel so far. I'm almost done with this. I want to say I think I have about 15 rows left before I'm gonna bind it off. I am thinking the length is about where I want it. I like the idea of having it be a little bit longer so that my neckline is a little longer. I'm glad that I went with the needle size that I did. I'm getting this really nice open knit, slubby textured look. It took me a little bit, but I think that my stitches are starting to even out a little bit more. Obviously, to some degree, like there's not much you can do to help that when like the strand goes from like thicker to thinner. But I at least think I'm turning out to be a little bit more consistent towards the top. Like I can kind of see, like it does to me. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell like on camera. It's probably so hard to see, but I think the top here is looking way more even at the bottom. So it did take me a second to get into the swing of like how to knit this, how to hold it, and find like a tension that was feeling all right for me. I have about this much yarn left and I still have 2 balls of yarn. So I should have more than enough, which is great because I think that this shipped like all the way from Lithuania. So glad that I picked the color that I did. This rust color is gorgeous. I don't think it looks as bright on camera, but in person it's a little bit brighter. It looks like it might be coming up a little bit more purple on the camera too. And this is definitely more of like a red toned brown, almost like a dark copper kind of tone. It's gorgeous. I love it. Great and easy way for me to have a pop of color without pushing me like outside of my comfort zone. Because let's be real, I wear a lot of like basic colors other than when I sometimes wear green or I sometimes wear like a cobalt blue. Most of the time I'm in like grays, blacks, creams, whites. So this is perfect. I don't knit back and forth like on a square or a rectangle very, very often. And let me tell you, I always hate the way that the ends look. If you have some tips for anything that I should try when I'm just knitting a simple shape like this, let me know. are finally done with my first panel. This color is so cute, dude. Oh my god, this is going to be perfect. I don't know why, but my bind offs are always so tight and I hate it. I was deliberately trying to use a loose grip, a loose tension, and it still turned out like this, which is kind of a bummer, but I really do not want to redo the binding at all. I can't do that to myself. I accept the things that I cannot change. Well, actually, I can technically change it, but we're going to pretend like I can't, okay? This yarn definitely took me a little bit to get used to. This was so easy for me to accidentally pick up a stitch from like the row previously and not even realize it. So that happened to me a couple of times. Now I'm much better at handling the yarn. So already in my next one, like that's not happening as much. Thankfully, you know, for the most part, this is not supposed to be a very even looking project, especially with the type of yarn that I chose for this. So I don't have to worry about it too much. I will always forget just like how long it actually takes, or more importantly, how long it feels to just knit a square over and over and over again, back and forth like that. It always, like, I always experience that, like when I go to like knit a scarf, I'm always feeling, goddamn, I forget that this is actually longer than I think it is. Anyway, I have started the second panel. Not that far into it at all, but I am happy to finally get there. So I don't know, maybe give me like a week, maybe week and a half. I think this will be totally done. The poncho is complete. This thing turned out so cute and so easy to do, by the way. I'm glad that I chose the needle size that I did. It's giving that open knit style that I really wanted out of this. I was a little bit worried that the neckline wasn't going to be as off shoulder as I was originally hoping it to be, because some of like the tester photos, or at least the sample photos, looked like it may have been a little bit closer around the neck. I did use, if I remember correctly, a 6.5mm needle size, and I did use that yarnart yarn that was recommended in the pattern. Otherwise, I followed everything in the pattern like to the T. I made the exact same cast on stitches, the exact same amount of rows. Because I did use a bigger needle, I do think that it turned out maybe a little bit longer. I am so sad because right here I already created a snag in the fabric. It got caught on my belt loop while I was sitting at my desk yesterday while I was streaming. This exact little prong right here, thankfully it did not snap the yarn, so I was able to at least like remove some of the tension, but it's still like pretty loose in that one area. I could probably give it a little bit more love to try and get it to even itself out. Maybe I should try blocking it again. I don't know. I did just steam block this. I didn't do like a whole wet block or anything. So I think that was more than enough. I'm going to try to steam block around where I created that snag yesterday, and fingers crossed, maybe it can fix itself a little bit. This was an awesome pattern. I highly recommend it. It was free. It was easy and straightforward. And that's going to do it with the video, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me during this video. The next one that I post should just be a straightforward vlog. More project vlogs to come. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!